Hi folks, it's just over a year since we moved to Montrose, and to celebrate our anniversary we've decided to go for a bit of a walk. Now Montrose is in Angus, and Angus is dotted with all these cool little coastal attractions, but they've never really been joined up before until this guy, James Carron, wrote a book called The Angus Coastal Trail. So he's kind of done all the research for us. All we need to do now is read and walk. What could possibly go wrong? We've started the trail at the Invergowrie Burn, which is just to the west of Dundee beyond the airport. Now that little burn used to be the official southern boundary of Angus. I'm not sure if it is anymore, but that's where James started the trail and that's where we'll start. Now ahead of us we've got about 51.5 miles, which is about 82.5 kilometres, north all the way to Montrose. So we're going to try and do this over 3 consecutive days. We were originally going to do it over 2 days, but that was a bit of a push and the weather wasn't great. So we've started this evening, we'll walk for about 3 hours through Dundee and onto Broughty Ferry, and then we'll continue this adventure tomorrow. Don't do that, we need that book. We're quite lucky actually, because it's absolutely chucked it down with rain all day, and then as soon as we got off the bus in Invergowrie, the rain stopped, and I tell you what, the sun is trying to come through.
It was actually raining the whole week.
It was. Yeah, this was never going to happen this week. We thought it was doomed. We've had to come back up onto the main road because the airport is to our right, and in fact, I think that's the runway down there, right on the coast. Dundee's a cracking airport to take off from. It's Sunday today and we're passing one of those Green Kings, and the smell is amazing. We could just pop in and have a roast, but we've only just started.
That'll be a good start.
It would.
Half an hour walk, go and have a nice grill.
And here we are now passing Dundee Airport. It's the only Highlands and Islands airport that's not in the Highlands. I know I've said that before, but anyway. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling very good, but also I'm glad we're doing this part today because it's probably the most boring part of the trail.
It reminds me of the Fife Coastal Path. Remember that first little bit? And it would have been good to get that out the way as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's just industrial, quite boring, but it's okay.
And if this memorial to the Tay Bridge disaster looks familiar, we passed one of these on the other side of the Tay Bridge when we were just about to finish the Fife Coastal Path. And here we are at the start of another trail.
Hey, those things are so tall. What is that? What is it? Look.
I think they're making or pulling apart oil rigs. Oh, we need to go left. And as we get to the discovery, the only thing we're discovering tonight is that that weather forecast we checked today was complete rubbish, because it was meant to be sunshine by now.
It is raining.
So that's us passed under our other Tay Bridge, and now in front of us we can see the oil rigs, but like I say, I'm not sure if they're making them or pulling them apart. Oof, someone's got energy. I was going to say beautiful views from up here, but it's a bit shaky. Well, that's a very cool, if random, wee observation deck. I didn't think you'd be able to go up there. Dundee's full of surprises. That's quite sad to see the old lightship from memory. I thought it was looking a lot nicer than that, but it really is falling into disrepair, isn't it? And here we've got another historic ship, which again, it's beautiful, but it needs loads of investment. It's like it's seen better days for sure. At last the sun is breaking through in a blue sky. By the time we get to Broughty Ferry, which is the end point for today, I think it's going to be a beautiful evening.
I think I'm lost. It leads to a roundabout where it branches left, rising over the railway line to join East Dock Street. Don't follow it up.
Ah, okay.
But instead cross at a pedestrian crossing and veer left along a surface footpath running parallel.
Well, I guess we can officially say that's us leaving Dundee, and what a cool place. I mean, we didn't even go any further than the little waterfront path. But I love Dundee.
Nice view.
Ah, we're back at the coast proper now, aren't we?
Yep.
Oh, and see across the bay, that's the lighthouses that we passed on the Fife Coastal Path.
Yes,
And remember, we were too tired to go and see them.
Yes. They were so close, but we just couldn't do it.
So we are on 5 to 8. We've still got a bit of light in the sky, and we can see Broughty Ferry, our destination for the day, just off in the distance. And it looks absolutely beautiful, as it is. Broughty Ferry just gets nicer the nearer you get. I just hope it's got a chippy or an ice cream shop or something.
It does. This is about birds, eagles and stuff. You would like it. Different feathers. Hey, sea eagle. Okay. Yeah, so we did walk this promenade before, but we never went that far. And I actually never realised that you can walk from Broughty Ferry to Dundee. Did you?
I had no idea, and it's beautiful, isn't it? It's crazy to think how lucky we have got today. I'm not joking, it has been raining for forever.
For a week, yeah.
It has non-stop rained for a week, and we were thinking, will we ever get out again? But here we are, it's absolutely stunning. And see, looking back on Dundee, kind of in the mist and the sun, it's gorgeous.
Can I just say this is my favourite cottage in Broughty Ferry?
Well, if you buy that, I'll be happy.
It's so cute.
Day one complete.
Ta-da!
Well done. So as we get to the far end of Broughty Ferry, in the shadow of Broughty Ferry Castle, it's time to explain some of the practicalities for this trip. We actually strategically parked the van here earlier, and this was just like a kind of warm-up leg, loosen up before the rest of the trail. So we'll head home tonight, sleep in our proper bed, and we'll nip back here in the morning and we will continue northwards.
35 kilometers tomorrow.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
The next stop is Carnoustie. Passenger safety information notices are located throughout this train.
Good morning folks, it's day 2. It was so difficult to get up this morning, but we're in Arbroath. Don't get confused because this is actually today's destination. But again, we've just dropped the van off here. We'll get the train back down to Broughty Ferry where we finished last night, and the trail continues.
The weather doesn't look too promising.
No, it's a bit dull and windy today.
Yeah, we see what happens.
Ah well, here we are, Broughty Ferry, and we've only got one way to go. This is going to be a long day. We've got how many miles? Kilometres?
Well, 35 kilometers, which will be 23 miles.
So it's almost a marathon today that we've got to do. And it is 9:38. We should be absolutely fine. Even if it takes us 12 hours, we should be fine.
They have nice charity shops in Broughty Ferry.
No shopping. And while it's awfully nice to be on the beach, I'm not sure we can do marathon distance on this soft sand. It's hard going. So we're still on the beach, we've got the rain behind us, but where actually are we? Well, on the estuary here, across the other side, we've got Tentsmuir Forest, and if you go round that peninsula, it'll take you towards St Andrews. And off in the distance in front of us, we can see way off in the distance a couple of lighthouses, and they are at Barrybudden. Now, one thing we're not sure about is getting round Barrybudden because it is a live firing range for the Ministry of Defence. So we'll just need to wait and see if we can get round the coast, and if not, we'll have to take an alternative route.
So we need to walk on Milton Street, Ferry Road,
And then back to the beach. Well, that diversion's taken us back up onto the main road, so we'll just switch off the camera just now. We'll scoot along here, and when we get back down to the coast, we'll start rolling again. Blue Seaway. Very fancy. There's actually lots of these little bridges, these little railway bridges around these parts.
Oh.
Very cool.
More importantly, for the coastal walker, Balmossy Station marks the road's entry into the modern-day county of Angus.
Oh, have we missed that? So we're back down in the coast now, but we did get a wee bit lost for a moment there. It looks like that diversion has made us miss the modern southern boundary of Angus, but we just couldn't get to it, so onwards we go. Aye, so here we are at Barrybudden now. It's saying that access is permitted, but only when safe to do so. When live firing is underway, red flags are raised and red lights are illuminated at the various access points. During these times, members of the public should not enter the area. To do so would be to risk injury or even death. So yeah, I think we'll go that way.
I think so. So we are here, right?
Yeah.
Instead of going round here to the lighthouse, we keep on the road number 1, which will be along there, which makes it a bit shorter. I won't complain.
Yeah, it's a win, isn't it? I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty happy about this diversion. It's gonna cut off, I would say, a good couple of kilometres.
Yeah.
The only downside is that we can't see the Barrybudden lighthouses. I think there's a couple of wee lighthouses out there that are pretty cool, but that just means we'll need to come back at some other time. Now, the firing times, when live firing is happening, it is published online, but we didn't check it because we're here anyway. Whether there was firing or not, we were going to be doing this path today, so it didn't really matter. But it appears it's from 9 till 4 today that you can't pass. And it's like 11 o'clock in the morning, so it's a wee bit long to wait. That's us on the diversion path now towards Carnoustie. So we've got live firing to our right and we've got a golf course to our left. So there's just bullets and balls all over the place. But we were looking in the book and Barrybudden actually looks really cool. So we think we'll come back when the firing's not on and do a wee video in there of the lighthouses and the old wartime buildings and stuff. It looks quite interesting. Well, we might be relieved to be taking this shortcut, but I tell you what, it's a long shortcut. Just a very straight path that seems to go on forever next to the railway line. We thought we were near Carnoustie, but then we just checked the map and wish we hadn't. It's getting hot in the sun. We're here at Barry Links railway station, which I have never known a train to actually stop at. I'm not sure what it serves. Maybe it is on a local line or something.
It looks like it would.
But the barriers are down, so it'll be interesting to see if we've got another train passing. A wee Azuma, and as with every other train, it just flies through Barry Links station. The path now takes us through Carnoustie Golf Links, and that's the really fancy posh golf course. In fact, there's some guys teeing off just now, so I'm trying to be as quiet as possible. Now, this course has hosted the Open Championship on a number of occasions, I think, but the famous one was when Jean van de Velde, remember when he put his ball in the burn at the very last hole and lost the championship to Paul Laurie, I think it was, a Scotsman that won it that year. But it's a really nice golf course. The greens, the fairways, just look so beautiful, but it's famous as well for very thick rough. So you need to be a good golfer to play here. And we've passed the golf course and we're now right back down on the coast, but it's windy, it's cold, we're hungry, and we're starting to feel this walk in our legs. It's all part of the fun though, eh?
Looks like the tide is up.
Yep. No chance of going on the beach. Right, so here at Carnoustie we're just going to take a wee break from the trail and head up into town and get maybe some food, some lunch, because certainly between Carnoustie and Arbroath there's going to be nothing.
Yep.
Which way to go, I'm not sure. A wee cafe or something would be perfect. I went to school here, but I don't recognise the place at all anymore, because when I say school I mean like primary one. So we just come to the pub in Carnoustie because we need to get some lunch. I'm one of these people though that when we walk, I'm never hungry, so we're just getting toasties and a wee drink and then we'll move on. But we're maybe about halfway, or certainly well on our way to Arbroath. The sun's coming out, doesn't look too bad, so it's been a long slog this morning. That path that bypassed Barrybudden was it wasn't very interesting, to be honest with you. But it should get a bit nicer from here on, and we'll be right down on the coast again, I'm sure, all the way to Arbroath.
We have no Wi-Fi, so it's good to have a book with you.
It's a very good book though, isn't it? I wouldn't attempt this trail without the book.
It's a really good book. And it has maps. It shows you like different, so that's the one we're attempting now. Shows you like the distance, toilets,
so much information.
bars. Yeah, everything. Like what's worth to see on the way, pictures. It's really cool.
Aye, so we stopped for lunch at the Kinloch Arms Hotel. I think that's what it was called. I've got no idea, that could be completely wrong. But we just had toasties and it was lovely. And then see, when you start, you come out again, you just feel cold and tired. That's the worst thing, never stop. We're on the beach now, and I think this is West Haven, but we just took some local advice from a lady who was saying don't continue along the beach towards East Haven because there's a big burn and we'd get our feet wet. So we've just come onto the beach to have a look at the boats and the sheds, so it looks quite interesting here, and then we'll double back on ourselves and get on the cycle track that will take us along towards East Haven. I love little places like this, it's like a photographer's dream. And I guess these were all once old fishing huts. Some of them might still be fishing huts, but some of them look a lot more fancy these days. Hi, navigator.
Hi.
Oh, another long, gruelling cycle path, you can see it stretching off behind us, has brought us into East Haven. But we're not quite at the coast again yet. We've still got the train track in between us and the beach. But here's hoping that when we get into East Haven, there'll be a right turn somewhere. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, but I'm just thinking tomorrow we'll have better views than today.
I think you're right. Aye, it's not the most interesting day in the world today. It's still been good, and it's nice just to get these miles done, but we'll get the reward tomorrow. East Haven.
East Haven.
And as hoped, that's us going back under the railway track towards the coast. Now there's a couple little facts about East Haven that we need to share with you, and they're in the book. 2 seconds. Right, so our facts, we've got a cool one and a horrible one. So dating from 1214, the hamlet of East Haven is the oldest recorded fishing community in Scotland. And the bad one is that in 1848 there was an outbreak of scarlet fever and cholera here that killed over 20 inhabitants, hitting the fishing industry hard. And I'm guessing in a wee community like this, if 20 of them are killed, it doesn't leave many, does it? I'm sitting on a fish, look.
Oh, you're sitting on a fish.
We're still on a really nice path here, but it's very exposed, so the wind is getting up. I'm not even sure if you can hear what I'm saying, but it's a reasonably easy walk today. I think most of the harder work will be tomorrow.
Yes.
You see, if you spend about a day and a half on a coastal trail with me and my chat, the earbuds go in and she's lost now in a completely different world. I'll still keep talking. We're back in civilization and almost at our finish line for today, and I think that's my legs have had enough. What about you?
Yeah, quite hard.
That was tiring. But we're in Arbroath now and we're from Montrose, so legally we're not really allowed to say anything nice about Arbroath, but keep it quiet. We actually quite like this town. We're just about to come up to Gayfield Park, which is the home of Arbroath FC. Now that's a team that's been doing quite well recently. They almost got into the Premier League, the top league in Scotland. They just missed out on that last year. I'm not quite sure what their standings are this season, but they're still in like the second tier of Scottish football. And that wee stadium must be the closest stadium to the sea of any stadium in Scotland. So there we go, Arbroath Harbour marks the end of day 2. Now we've only got 5 things to do. Drive home, eat, shower, sleep, repeat. We'll see you tomorrow. They've put the flags out for us in Arbroath, but we're not even finished yet. We've still got tomorrow. Good morning, we're back at Arbroath again, and this is the big leg today. Arbroath, of course, home of the Arbroath Smoky, but it's too early to get smokies, so less talking, let's get walking. As we head north out of Arbroath, there's only one word on all the signs: cliffs. That's an ominous start to our day, isn't it? Aye, so yesterday we had all those flat paths, but today it gets a wee bit more hilly, and this is also the longest leg of the trip, so the only real thing we've got going for us today is that we're going home. We're going to finish today just north of Montrose, so that is an advantage. As we head up the first big path behind us, it takes us onto the Arbroath Cliff Trail, and if this poster's anything to go by, it looks pretty cool. These little inlets are fascinating, and of course you can only get there by boat. You get a lot of kayak tours around here. I don't think I'd go in there in the inflatable kayak though. We're taking our first little excursion off the path down towards the rocks, because there's a really cool hole in the rocks down here. And although I'd like to get a wee bit closer, no.
So it looks really cool, but on a sunny day, those rocks have really nice red color. Do you remember?
I do indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Aye, we don't want to be doing that too often. Can really feel it in the legs. Oof.
Oh.
Nice. It really is stunning here, and we've walked this path in the summer where it gets very busy. Lots of families out enjoying this coastline, but today we've got it all to ourselves.
There. We just walked on top of it. That's scary, huh?
Oh, that's the path going right across the top.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
I know.
There's so much variety on the Angus coastal trail, but I think this is the best bit so far.
Oh, it's a hard work.
Oh, this is not what you need on day 3, is it?
Yeah, up and down.
Oh, a sandy beach down there. I wasn't expecting that. They've all been just pebbles and rocks so far. After all that cool scenery just north of Arbroath, you've just got to buckle yourself in for a long slog along the cliff tops towards Lunan Bay. I'd actually thought that Lunan Bay was just round the corner, and then I looked at the map on my phone and got a bit of a bad surprise. There's a long way to go. We just came around that corner and the cliff tops just seem to go on forever. Oh well.
Push it.
If you just dropped me here and said that I'm in Pitcairn or Tristan da Cunha, I think I'd probably believe you. So that's us coming into Auchmithie. Just a name on a map to me, I've never been here before. But from this spot, we've got two choices.
An easy inline hike following tracks and paths through farmland above the cliffs, or more difficult and adventurous coastal scramble that visits secluded coves and caves and culminates with a steep pull up and grassy ridge.
Oh, it's awfully tempting to go the difficult way, isn't it? Maybe we should just toss a coin for this. What a cool little village this is, and I'm sure I've seen the Button Bend somewhere online before. I think we're going to come for food here at some point, but unfortunately it's Tuesday and it's closed on a Tuesday. Of course it is.
So we're taking terrain road, yeah.
That looks like terrain road down there.
The latter relies on the tide being out. If the harbour walls are well above the waterline, then there is time enough to tackle the foreshore.
This place is incredible. You've got the wee village at the top of the hill, the cliffs, the beach, the old broken harbour, and the old broken boats as well. I'm so glad we've found this. It's cool, isn't it?
It's beautiful, it's amazing.
I'll be honest, we're not 100% sure this is the way. The book seems to suggest that it is, but looking along the shoreline here, we can't really see a way around. We'll soon find out, eh? If this isn't the way, then it's a tiring mistake. I don't fancy scrambling up there. Not today. Oh, they even put a seat out for me. A rusty old seat, I don't know if it'll take my weight. Aye, what a place though.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. I can't believe we never came down here.
I'm not sure about this. It just doesn't look like there's any way to get round.
So it looks like there's lots of really cool caves, but unfortunately the tide is going up. We can't check it online. We won't chance it.
I've got a horrible feeling that Auchmithie is going to break us. We've spent a lot of energy and time just to get to this point, and if we can't get any further and have to go back, that's adding such a big chunk onto our day. Look at this cave, it's absolutely magical. But onwards we go. Right, we've got to this point, and if it's not the first cave that takes us through, then we know at least there's definitely no way to the second cave. It might just be a tide thing, but I think we will need to head back if it's not round that first corner.
Definitely, yeah.
Nah, no joy I'm afraid, so no hanging about. We'll head back before we get cut off by the tide. There's good and bad in that. I mean, that fail has cost us well over an hour, but at the same time that's some of the nicest scenery we've seen in the whole trail, to the extent in fact that I think we definitely need to come back here and do that section on its own, possibly even as its own video, because it's absolutely beautiful. Oh, I can't believe how upbeat you are about that last section. To me, that was just absolutely exhausting. And it's cost us, like I say, so much time that we might have to redraw the end of this one and come back tomorrow and finish that last section along the beach at Montrose. That'll take us to River North Esk. We'll see how we get on, but I was right. Auchmithie has broken me. Our walk of shame now takes us right through the centre of Auchmithie village. A beautiful place it is as well. Oh, toilets. You need a toilet?
I'm okay, thank you.
You okay? There are toilets, folks. Look at that wee water tower there in the square. That is just picture perfect.
This is such a beautiful village. I can move here.
If there's one thing that's certain to happen when you do a long distance walk, it is that at some point you're going to hit the wall. And I think I've kind of hit my wall. I'm not exhausted, but I'm just there.
I had it yesterday when we finished.
Okay.
I could still walk, but I was just, I don't know, mentally tired. Yeah. You feel like you just don't care anymore and you want to give up.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. It seems like soon we'll be turning right and going back to the coastline to see the cliffs.
Hmm?
Stop.
We've just come over the brow of a hill and now we can see Lunan Bay just stretching out off into the distance, the big sandy beach. And it's quite deceptive actually because you can see quite a long way from here. So we can actually pretty much see our finish line for today. So we're just going to walk around that beach, easier said than done. And then that'll take us up onto the cliffs towards Bodden Point. And from Bodden Point, that's where Elephant Rock is. And that'll take us round to the headland where we can see the lighthouse way off in the distance. And that lighthouse is at Ferryden, which is almost in Montrose. So we're doing all right.
You know what?
What?
It looks close, but it's really far to the lighthouse.
Yes, oh yes. We've got a lot of work to do today.
That's like hours of walking.
Yeah,
just
but what's
to the
halfway though? Cafe!
Oh, cafe, yes! There's a cafe. Do you think it's open?
I hope so.
My shoes on purpose.
Well, look at that hole.
It's fine. They're fine. They're fine. They're the most comfortable shoes I have. Perfect. Are we going on the beach or are we going up?
What does Jimmy say? Aye, so when we got down to the beach at Lunan Bay, we thought, oh, we can have a walk along the sand, dip our feet in the sea, but unfortunately not. The track goes back inland a bit. And I suspect that's because there is a river that empties out about halfway along the beach and maybe you can't cross that or something, but there must be some reason we're going back inland again.
It's cruel.
It's very cruel. Oh no, we've failed again. Well, not really, because we were following the Angus coastal trail on the signs, but James, we've just realised, has said, go down onto the beach, and we didn't go to the beach. So back we go. That's a big diversion. So that's a big lesson for this trail if you are doing it, and if you're trying to follow James's route, it's not always going to be the same as what's on the signs. Here we are, we're back in town to buy a house. Who's selling? Nobody's selling. You'll never be able to get a place here, ever. Now I think of it, this trail wouldn't be the same without Lunan Bay Beach. It's an absolute gem, and I'm so glad we're now walking along the sand. And there's that raging river. I think it's called the Lunan Water. It might be small, but I've got no idea how we're going to cross it.
Hi.
Hi. Castle.
I think it's the wall from the tower of the Red Castle. That's so cool. And it's not easy to get up here. Well done.
Oh, thank you.
I know, it was hard.
Wow, it's beautiful. We're back down to the beach and there's a little shop here, but is it open? Please be open. There are some cars. This place is an absolute godsend. Look at our haul. We've got Coke, lollies, tuna toasty,
I got a badge.
a badge.
Oyster catcher badge.
Look at that. This is what I need for a second wind, because if I don't get that second wind, I don't think I'd even get to Montrose. So it's nice to be able to just sit down for a wee while, catch our breath, and we'll get going again. Nice.
The toasty is amazing. That's just half of it, and that's a smaller half.
And what have I got?
Begin in the car park. Do not make a beeline for the beach, however tempting it might be.
I made the mistake of asking how far we've got to go to Montrose. And just to get to the start of Montrose, I thought maybe 3 miles, 9. So that's what's ahead of us this evening.
Yeah. I would like to be walking on the beach instead, you know?
There's a surprise.
Seems so much nicer, flat, and it's beautiful.
I don't care about beaches, I just want a 5-in-1 in Montrose. That's a takeaway, by the way. I'll have a chicken kebab, a cold beer. That's the only thing that's keeping me going. But to be fair, it is an awfully nice beach, isn't it? Look at that, it's like an open viaduct. That'd be cool with a train going over, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
When we get to a crossroads like this, it's actually heartbreaking because we know Montrose is just down that road, about 1.5 miles maybe. I can smell my chicken kebab from here, but no, we've got to turn right and we've got to go back down to the coast. Typical. Hi buddy. Hello. Just down behind us here we've got the lime kilns at Bodden Point and there's a little harbour down there as well. But we're not going down there for 2 reasons. Number 1, I don't think our legs will carry us. And number 2, we're going to come back here at some point and film a proper video. Elephant Rock. No idea why it's called Elephant Rock.
Pass through a gap in the field boundary just north of the cemetery and then progress along the edge of the field. There.
I think we should walk inside the fence.
Yeah.
From here you've got the old graveyard and you've got Elephant Rock from the other side. And you can walk across the spine of the elephant, but look how narrow it is. We're coming up towards the old fishing village of Usan now, and you can see the kind of natural harbour there coming in. But what a cool place, and you see the old church tower as well, which is derelict now, but it looks fantastic.
At low tide, the easiest way to progress is to follow the foreshore past the harbour and icehouse to a grassy field.
I think this must be the old harbour.
Yeah.
I think you're on the slipway. There's an anchor there. Look at that, you've got the chains coming down off the rocks either side. And this will be the old ice house here. And now up here it's like we could be in a different planet. It certainly smells of the sea, if you know what I mean. It's 6:30 now, we started at 9 this morning, so that's been a long day. And my second wind is quickly fading, and I don't think there'll be a third one. So the plan is just to get round the shorehead here. We'll get to the lighthouse and to Ferryden, and that's where we'll call it quits for today. And then we'll jump on a bus into Montrose. We'll come back to Ferryden probably tomorrow afternoon, evening, and we will complete the Angus coastal trail. But be very careful on this trail because there's bears. Sounds like my joints. A mile to Ferryden, 2.5 miles home. As we're about to finish today and the smiles come onto our faces, we can give you our bearings a little bit. So this river here, this runs into the main kind of industrial harbour of Montrose, and this is the river South Esk. And our challenge, the Angus coastal trail, finishes at the river North Esk, which is just the other side of Montrose, plus about 5 or 6 miles. So there's just absolutely no way we can do that tonight. So we'll go home, have a nice relaxing evening, and tomorrow afternoon, we'll finish. Well, we wanted to get the bus from Ferryden, but when we got to the bus stop, it was another 30 minutes to wait. And we just can't stop because we get cold, you know. So we're just walking into Montrose.
I can really feel my feet. They're sore.
But not in a blistery way.
No, just sore from walking.
So there we go, 8:10 and we finish here at the steeple. And we'll pick it up again from here tomorrow afternoon. See you then. So here we are back for the very short final leg. I tell you, this is the last thing we wanted to do today, but we've got to do it right, so let's go. This last leg, it'll take us north out of Montrose. It's only about 7.5 miles in total, but that's a loop because where it finishes, you're away on a beach at the far end of town, so it'll actually loop us back into Montrose, and when we get back to Montrose, that's when it finishes. For me, I've had a really nice relaxing day. This one's just finished work, so she deserves all the credit.
I'd It's me. I was working so hard. You could never believe it. I was working so hard, honestly.
And that'll be us right back down at the coast. But as you can see, the tide is quite high at the moment. It is dropping, but I'm not sure how much actual beach access we'll have today. These big rocks behind me are there for good reason, because this part of the world continues to suffer from coastal erosion. And in fact, at the top of the hill there, Montrose golf course, that's one of the oldest golf courses in the world, but with the sea battering against this coastline, they have to keep edging further and further inland.
Can I give you my expertise on the tides?
Sure, surfer.
So in Montrose, if there is 3.2 meters or below, you're absolutely fine to cross in general, until it's like really big waves, so you can get a bit wet.
Okay.
If it's above 3.2, you usually risk that you need to take off your shoes. But also it depends, if it's going down, then you're fine. If it's going up, and you decide to cross it and then you'll be going back in 20 minutes, sometimes you just cannot come back. You need to walk up the golf course.
Hey, well done.
And it looks like we walked 130,000 steps in the last 4 days. Just on a trail.
So there we go, folks. It's hard to even comprehend, but we've just walked the whole of the Angus coast. And across the other side of the river North Esk here, we've got what would have been Kincardineshire. I'm not sure if it's still called Kincardineshire or if it's just Aberdeenshire now. But that's us. We're at the end of the line. So be sure to let us know in the comments what you thought of the trail. Is it something you would do? We absolutely loved it, but the only recommendation we would give is, as always, try and give yourself a little bit longer. We did it in what was really 2.5 days, and for me at least that was a struggle. What about you?
Well, it was more difficult than I expected, that's for sure. And it's funny because originally we planned to do it in 2 days.
Yeah, I'm so glad we added on that extra bit of time. There's no way we could have done that in 2 days.
Nope.
That extra like half day made all the difference, but although I'm not feeling emotional, my legs and my feet could cry. So there we go, that's us turned for home now at the end of another adventure. Thank you so much as always for watching, folks, and a special shout out to James for writing that book. I'm not sure we would have got here without him. See you next week, guys.
Goodbye.